This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with a Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Wait, hold on. Like, what does 90,000 points get me? I feel like I'm walking up to the game counter at the skating rink or at the arcade. I have 90,000 tickets. Can I finally buy the plush doggy up there?
I was able to get my family one-way flights from Austin to Amsterdam. 85,000 points for 5 one-way flights.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone, joined here with the brilliant Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, but how are you today?
We're talking about one of my favorite subjects in the entire world, Bree, travel.
Oh, and one of my favorite subjects, how to do it for less money.
Travel's like one of my core values. So like I gladly spend the money on travel. And I like traveling like a little bit luxurious, but I also like finding those deals so I don't have to pay to be luxurious. Status matters a lot to me, Bree, as you know, with my Sky Club membership that I have to do, which I get it through a credit card, which we're talking about today and how to do that easily and use points to travel with your family. So I'm excited about this, Bree.
Hey, before we were getting ready to record today, I was saying how my favorite topic is how to spend money and get free stuff from it. I love that. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. So our guest today is Amber Paul. She's a former teacher and middle school assistant principal, and she loves teaching others how to provide experiences for their families for less money. She has been traveling on credit card points, get this, for 11 years and will be taking their family on a European adventure for the second time this summer. I cannot wait to start this conversation. So let's get on with the show.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I was so excited when I saw like your topic because like I need to tell you, I want to travel with credit card points so bad more. I right now have a Delta Sky Club Reserve card, which I want to get. Okay. I want to get into that a little bit. I want to get into that. But first, how did you first hack this whole system? How did you get started using points to pay for travel?
It's a great question. So when I was growing up, we traveled a lot, but it wasn't necessarily bougie trips. It was definitely like we live on the other side of the country from family. And so for spring break and summer, we're going to travel. And my parents came up with this brilliant idea to ship me off to Utah to see my grandma every summer. And now I realize how brilliant that was to send me by myself for 3 weeks as a kid, because maybe I want to do that with my children a little bit. But basically how we really got into traveling on points, fast forward now that I'm an adult. Basically what happened is I got married and I was a teacher, and unfortunately teachers don't make very much money. And my husband intended, I know it's a problem. So someone fix that. Yeah. Well, I mean, you should. But anyway,
They
so
fixed
as a
it in
teacher,
Washington. Yeah.
that's
They get over 100,000 there a year.
Oh, that's,
They do.
I was in the 30s, so that's
Yeah.
an improvement. Anyway, so
That's both.
Oh, yeah.
That's both great and a bit of a dagger to hear, right?
I know. That's great for them. Yes. Anyways, I was a teacher, wasn't making much money. My husband had the intention of quitting his job and going back to grad school, and we realized that we wanted to travel. We didn't want to give up that ideal, but we truly could not afford it. It was not in the budget. And so we realized, along with some of his coworkers, we kind of all got into this at the same time, and we learned about how to strategically open up credit cards earn a huge chunk of points and then take those points and travel on those points. And so we started doing this pretty casually, but then eventually we had kids and our family started to grow. And so we realized we either had to travel less or we needed to really jump into the credit card points and miles world and figure out how that we could earn enough points to travel with our family. And so that's what we did.
That's
Wow.
so exciting. I have so many questions about this because I had a friend who did the whole travel with card points, and she took these amazing things and like upgraded to first class and those kind of
Yeah,
things. And honestly, like at this point in my life, because I have teenagers, almost teenager, that really appeals to me.
absolutely.
but but the process can be very confusing. And I know right out the gate, I talked to my husband about this, and his first inclination is to be like, no, that's going to damage our credit score.
Absolutely.
What do you say to that?
Yeah, it's a good point. So there are multiple factors that contribute to your credit score. The absolute largest portion, which is 35% of your credit score, is based on the fact, are you paying off your credit cards and your bills on time and in full each month? If
Mhm.
you are, then this is for you. If you are not paying off your credit cards on time and in full each month, then I would definitely recommend making that your number one priority and figuring out how you can, get out of debt and great things will come after you focus on that. But yes, so in terms of credit, there are multiple portions of the credit score and some of those aspects will actually likely improve as you open up credit cards. For instance, one of the factors is a credit mix. And so
Mhm.
if the only credit you have is maybe tied to like a car loan and a home loan, then as you open up more variety of credit and as more banks are putting their trust in you, your credit score will likely increase. And then another factor of your credit is based on basically the allotment of credit that the bank is willing to give you. And so
Mhm.
if you have like one credit card that has a $10,000 credit limit, that's great. But if you open up another one, the bank is giving you even more credit. And then basically the factors that create your credit score will show that the banks trust you and they're giving you more credit. So therefore you're paying those off and your credit will likely improve.
So that's interesting because, like, I'm assuming that before we even get into the strategy, that you have to open and close a lot of credit cards often. So, does closing credit cards hurt your credit score?
Great question. So another factor that goes into the credit score, it's heavily tied to keeping your longest line of credit open forever. And so that's one thing that you want to do. You want to never cancel your longest line of credit. And so maybe you were in college and you're checking out at Express
I have that.
and they were like,
Yep.
do you want to save 10%, which is like $4, by opening up this credit card? And now that's your longest line of credit. Well, lucky for you, you need to keep that credit card open forever. And hopefully it's not an annual fee card, right? Otherwise, yes, you are consistently opening up credit cards, but we're doing it in a smart, strategic way, I want to mention, and that's something I can definitely teach. And then you are canceling cards, not just willy-nilly, but you think, okay, am I benefiting from this card any longer? So for instance, there are some credit cards that give you an annual free night hotel certificate. And in that case, it might be worth keeping a credit card that has a $95 annual fee because you cannot get a hotel night for $95 anymore. And so there are definitely some things to consider when you're canceling credit cards, but yes, in the long run, you are opening credit cards and you're canceling them as well.
It's so interesting. Like, I never knew that about keep your longest line of credit open. It's the first time I've ever heard that, Amber.
Oh,
So that is
okay.
like some knowledge
You're
there
great. Yeah.
that
Bree has a relic. I have a Discover card that I opened in 1999.
oh wow.
That sucker has seen me through being single, college, first marriage, divorce, second marriage. It's my best friend.
Yes. And I want to say, you might not be using that Discover card anymore, and you probably shouldn't be. But if, but you want to make sure that card stays open forever. And I don't know if y'all have ever had a credit card that gets auto canceled on you due to inactivity.
No, I haven't.
So with this Discover card, if you are using a different one, maybe you're still using that one, and I'm sure it's lovely.
I still use it a little. It's not a big one by any means. It's that safety blanket I have. So, but anyway.
And what I wanted to say is on your oldest line of credit, put something reoccurring on it and just set it to auto pay.
Oh,
So
that's
maybe it's in your sock drawer, but just put your Netflix subscription on it, set it up to auto pay, and just put it in your
and
put it
it'll
in your
just
sock
keep
drawer.
adding the positive credit behaviors there.
Exactly, exactly. Now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, an Express credit card, you can't do that same thing
Yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah. No.
You know, but yeah, that's a way to keep it active.
Wait, is Express even still around?
I have no idea.
I think it is. I've seen
It's
it.
gotta
I've
be.
seen it in the mall.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
around.
That's just sad.
I used to shop there. So I'm really curious to how this whole thing works, Amber, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty right after this. Here at No Guilt Mom, we talk about the constant sacrifice that mothers make, always doing stuff for others. I saw it growing up in my house where my mom was at the very last of her list. And when she finally did get the chance to rest, she collapsed. And I just want to make sure that you have a happy Mother's Day season. And there is a book called Long Live Moms, which is a reminder we all need that we must take care of ourselves too. So listen to this part. But wise are moms who pause, who see that caring starts with caring for me. A body strong, a breath drawn deep, a heart that beats, a soul to keep. The years move fast, yet love remains, a bond unbroken thread through veins. It is such a beautiful message. If you didn't know, Function Health is the all-in-one health platform that helps you take control of your health through data. So instead of guessing what's happening inside your body, Function helps you know for sure, providing access to 100 plus advanced lab tests. Function Health is the best way to care for you so that you can continue to care for them. So download Long Live Moms for free today at functionhealth.com/no guilt and learn more about Function Health can help you take better care of you. So get Function Health's Long Live Moms book for free at functionhealth.com/no guilt. That's functionhealth.com/no guilt.
Long gone are the days of waiting to be seen in a doctor's office only to have that awkward conversation with your healthcare provider. WISP gives you access to sexual and reproductive healthcare from the comfort of your home. Get treatment for BV, yeast infections, UTIs, and much more delivered directly to your home or ready for pickup at your local pharmacy in less than 3 hours. The best part? WISP is discreet, convenient, and you don't need medical insurance to receive care or prescription medication. Visit us today at hellowisp.com.
You know what makes every outfit look better? The right bra from Third Love. Their bras make it easy to get ultimate cleavage, a smooth look, or even stop your shirt buttons from pulling. They make over 60 sizes, including half cups you won't find anywhere else, so you'll find your perfect fit. Third Love solves bra problems, or what they call brablems. Real women test every style they make. Comfort and support are guaranteed. So stop settling for bad bras. You deserve better. Get your problem solved today. Save $15 on your first order with code PODCAST15 at thirdlove.com.
So many people probably right now you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, I have a travel credit card, but I'm not getting free vacations with my family on this travel credit card. So Amber, what are you doing differently?
That's a great question. So, yes, you're totally right. So many of us have a travel rewards credit card and we think, oh, well, I'm already doing what she's saying. Like, why am I not going on 4 trips a year? And the missing piece is, and this is kind of mind blowing, my husband and I typically open up a new credit card about every 90 days.
Oh, wow.
I know. And to be honest with you, sometimes we rotate. And so sometimes it'll be I open one and then 45 days later he'll open one. And then 45 days later I'll open one. And you don't have to be that intense. And we're not always that intense.
That
And in
sounds like that takes a level of organization that Bree doth not possess.
fact, well, I am going to teach her how to do it. But yes,
love it.
you do not have to do that. In fact, probably the first 7 years of our marriage, we would probably, and this is still seems like a lot if you're coming from one Discover card since the day you were born, but we would probably open up 2 personal cards each per year. So I would open up a card 4 or 5 months later. He would, maybe even not 2, maybe 1 a year. And so you can definitely go at your own pace. But the reason why I keep mentioning opening up cards and you're thinking, okay, but what's this have to do with anything? I'm sure you've seen it on TV commercials or in all the mailers that you get, but it says, when you open up this credit card, we'll give you 70,000 points when you spend $4,000 in 3 months or something like that. And so that's what we are doing. We are taking our everyday spending, Costco, groceries. Those should be the same, but unfortunately, there are both of these. Also, like kids' soccer, gym membership. We are taking all of these normal things and we are putting them on a credit card, and then we are paying them off on time and in full each month. And with that said, we are able to earn huge welcome offers, which we're then able to take. And I'll talk about later how to actually get the most value from those points. But we are able to earn these huge chunks of points and use them for ultimately free travel.
That
I have
is,
a question.
yeah, I have some questions
It's
too.
a lot.
Oh, Bree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do know about that method. My parents do that with like their Southwest card, but here's where Bree's problem lies. I can understand like soccer practice and things that are like pretty consistent and you know how much it's going to be. But my problem I have is I tend to be an impulse buyer when it comes to eating out. I don't feel like cooking tonight. Let's go eat out. Do you recommend doing those impulse buys at all? Even though they're small, like I'm still talking about impulse buy that's below $100. Do you recommend doing impulse buys on these cards too? Because like, I don't know at the end of the month how that's going to play out in terms of me being able to pay off all of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because we have multiple credit cards, we actually use a totally separate budgeting app, and it's really great because
Oh, okay.
I mean, we got married not later, but like we both had careers already, and so we both already had our own bank accounts, and yeah, we've merged some, but we also haven't merged some, and we've got different credit cards and that sort of thing. So basically, we have a budgeting app. We use Monarch, but there's also you need a budget. There used to be Mint, and that's the problem is that Mint went out of business or they stopped doing it or whatever.
Isn't Rocket Money another or no?
They might have a budgeting piece, but
Okay.
yes. So what we do is we have this app and we add in all of our credit cards and all of our bank accounts, and then we budget through the app. So we'll have an internet section and a eating out section and a grocery section. So we are tracking our budget through kind of like a third party app, if you
Gotcha.
will.
Got ya.
And then we are able to pay it all off out of our overarching thing. But we're able to see what money is going in and out through this budgeting app. And so we're able to make our
So the budgeting app
smart
makes it
financial
so the
choices there.
impulse buys are doable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm done with my question. That was it, Joanna.
No, that's
You're
great.
up.
So mine is like the level of organization required because so from what I understand, you and your husband are opening up personal credit cards pretty frequently to take advantage of those offers. And you say stuff like gym memberships. And I'm like, a recurring membership. How do you decide what money to spend on which card each month? And when are you like transferring like
question.
memberships over to another card
Yeah.
and that sort of thing? That's what's going in my brain.
It's a great question. So if lots of this is overwhelming, especially with the reoccurring payments, I just know that there's one hotel credit card that I have that I just keep open forever. And so I'm just going to put those reoccurring things on that. But if I were to need new tires and I needed that $700, they're probably more. I don't even remember what I paid last time for tires. Anyways, if I needed that huge chunk, I would put that on my new credit card. But yeah, you're right. I'm not going in every month and changing out my Netflix membership. I'm not changing out my gym membership every month. I've got some cards that I keep open forever,
Yeah.
whether it's my oldest card or, just some that I know that I like for whatever reason. And yes, I am not doing that. Unfortunately for me, my family spends so much money on just the day to day where I'm just physically swiping the card or using Apple Pay that I can hit most minimum spends without changing over every single little bitty thing. And that's where the budgeting app comes in so that I can track all of those things.
Okay. You just said something there that I have no idea what you're talking about. What is minimum spend?
Okay, great. So the minimum spend is kind of what I mentioned before. So on the TV, you hear the offers. If you want the 70,000 points, you just need to spend $4,000 in 3 months. So you will not get those 70,000 points if you don't spend $4,000 in 3 months. And that's the minimum spend. You've got to spend at least $4,000 in 3 months. That's a minimum spend.
Is that your indication then on when to close a card when you hit the minimum spend and you get the reward? Or do you keep using that card after you hit the minimum spend?
So glad you asked that. It depends on the card. So, and I want to say you do this at your own pace.
Yeah.
I mean, You do not have to be super intense about this. You can jump in and year one, you open up one credit card, and maybe year two, you open up two credit cards. Even just making a switch to opening up one credit card will likely give you one free trip a year. And so, or one free trip with the
Interesting.
open. You always want to keep open a credit card for one solid year.
Okay.
Okay.
And so basically how you look at this, because so many people are like, well, I don't want to pay all these annual fees, right? And I get it. I don't want to pay a million annual fees either. But if there's a credit card that you're going to open and you're getting points, which basically equate to money, you're thinking, okay, well, these points equals like $1,000. So am I willing to pay $95 for an annual fee one time in order to get $1,000 worth of points? And that seems like the greatest coupon ever in my mind. So I'm more than willing to do that. And then before that annual fee hits, or honestly, lots of times the annual fee will hit, but most banks will allow you to call or send a message within 30 days of the annual fee hitting, and they will reimburse you for that fee.
Okay.
And so I use an app, which I'll share on a handout that we have for you guys, but I use
have a
an
little
app
freebie
that
for you all.
sends me, well, we do, that sends me an email when that annual fee is approaching. So I can just reevaluate and say, okay, do I still want this card open? Are there benefits that I am getting that make it worth it? And if not, I'm definitely going to cancel that card.
That's interesting. So like with the points, I find like points being such like it's not a concrete thing of what I get with points. So like when a credit card's like, "Oh, you get 90,000 points." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like what can that get me?"
Yeah.
What are some of like the things that you're seeing that you're getting with points? How much do those points stretch? What do you get for them?
Wait, hold on. Can I throw in there that when you say that, like, what does 90,000 points get me? I feel like I'm walking up to the game counter at
Oh,
the skating rink or at the
yeah.
arcade. Like, I have 90,000 tickets. Can I finally buy the plush doggy up there? I don't know. Obviously,
They're
I'm
like,
showing
no,
my
you
age
need
a
more.
lot there. I know, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I would think too. Yeah. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so easy rule of thumb is to say that 90,000 points equals $900. Now, every bank is different. You know, every bank has different travel partners, which I'll talk about in just a second. So every bank's points are worth more or less. So not to bash on your beloved Delta, but 90,000 Delta points would not get you as much as 90,000 points through, say, Air France. And you're probably thinking, well, why the crap would I look up Air France?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I would never
don't
think to
live
do
in
that.
France. Why
Yeah.
would I look at flights on Air France? And so I'm going to tell you something that this is what many people are not doing. So this would not apply to your Delta card, but there are banks that earn you flexible miles. And so there are four major banks. And those banks, when you have one of their credit cards, so one example is the Capital One Rewards,
Yeah. You see that all the
the
time.
Venture Rewards card. You see that
Yeah.
all the time with Jennifer Gardner, right? On
Yes, I
TV?
think so. Yeah.
Yes.
What's in
Okay.
your wallet?
So there you
go.
Okay. Exactly. So that is a card that earns flexible points, right?
Yeah.
So what in the world does flexible points mean? Well, that means you can take those points and you can straight up cash them out. And so 90,000 points would equal $900.
Okay.
Or you could take those points, and this goes for all four major banks, and you could transfer those points to what we call travel partners. And so, for instance, Capital One's travel partners include Air France and Virgin Atlantic, and there are several more. And this is just an example, but I was able to take last summer, and I actually did it for this summer too. I actually took 95,000 points. So I spent a little bit more than just the welcome offer of 90,000 points. Anyways, I took 95,000 Capital One points and I transferred them to Air France. And this is where I definitely do a lot more teaching on my website and in all the things to teach you what travel partners are and that sort of thing. I transferred 95,000 points to Air France. Oh my gosh, it was actually 85,000 points. That makes the story even better. Okay, it was 85,000 points, and I was able to get my family one-way flights from Austin, which is where I live, to Amsterdam,
Oh,
which
wow.
is not where I live. 85,000 points for 5 one-way flights.
How did you do that?
Wow.
20,000 points each per adult, so there's two of us, and then kids on Air France actually fly
For free?
for 25% off.
Oh,
So their
nice.
flights were 15,000 flights were 15,000 points.
Oh,
So their
nice.
flights were 15,000 points. And so that just goes to show you that some airlines, the points just stretch
Mhm.
farther. Yeah, so the key is to figure out what transfer partners go with what bank and to transfer your points. So basically, instead of cashing out, which is what lots of people do, or instead of using the points in the portal.
Yeah.
So this goes again for flexible point earning cards and not the Delta card. If you earn Delta points, those are Delta points, right? Those
And
can't be transferred to other
I
points.
love my Delta points
I
so
know,
much.
and I love Delta too because I love Biscoff cookies.
Oh, there's more though to Delta. I want to hear what you have to say though about this right after this.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
Llegaron los nuevos McCrispy Strips, listos para aventurarse en la mezcla de mayo ketchup, la barbecue que quedó en el fondo de la cajita, hot fudge sundae y en la nueva creamy chili McCrispy Strip dip. Los nuevos McCrispy Strips, ahora en McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked #1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second LTE internet plan with smartphone plan savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
So before the break, Amber, you were talking about how some credit card companies and some banks points transfer better. Like you get more bang for your buck with some other than others. And this Air France flight that you took, the 20,000 points per person, that is incredible to me to travel like that.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say, you still have to pay taxes and fees, and the fees on this were higher, but I would have never been able to book 5 one-way flights for $900, right? Had I
Right.
cashed this out. Like
Yeah.
never. So that is just getting huge value for these points that you might already have in your wallet anyway, or in your digital whatever. Anyway, and so just knowing how to actually use the points that you already have is huge. And then other banks have travel partners as well, and those include hotel partners too. And so, like I said, there are 4 major banks, and some of them have Marriott or IHG or Hyatt, depending on the different bank. And you're able to really take those points and transfer them to those travel partners instead of just going and booking the hotel in the portal.
So this whole using your daily expenses, which you would pay for regardless if you had a credit card or not, you could really take advantage of stacking on travel for free based on this method.
Exactly. Travel is never free, right?
No.
But it just opens up the vehicle to be able to buy unlimited chocolate croissants because you did not spend $10,000 on the trip or maybe more. Yeah, I feel like if you're able to really capitalize on points for your flights and your accommodations, it just allows you to actually enjoy the trip a little bit better with less stress. I think
Yeah,
especially for
yeah.
those of us that have kids and we're like, "Oh, you got to pack it in, you got to pack it in, you got to do all the things, you got to be happy, you got to do this."
Will not.
Because you know that yeah, this trip did not
Highly advise
cost
against that. Yes.
as much. Yeah.
Those
This
are
trip did not cost-
expectations that are going to get
Yes,
smashed right
they're going to
away.
go
But
away real fast.
Go
There
on.
we go.
Yes.
Yeah, but this trip did not cost as much as it should have cost. And second, you know how to earn points and you can come back.
That is a really big mind shift because a lot of the stress for moms and for families is because so much stuff that we want to do with our kids does cost a lot of money. And that money stress affects us in so many ways and could cause us to have those behaviors where we're like, we have to pack it in because we have to get the most bang for our buck. So
Exactly.
Yep. That 100% was me when my kids were little. I'm like, we went to Legoland. We're never coming back again, guys. So yeah, better make this fun.
So we're there from morning to close. And yeah, absolutely.
that was my husband growing up with his dad. And as a result, my husband's like, I hate Disneyland. Like, because he was one of
Yeah.
those guys, like his dad's one of those people who's like, we got to go here, we got to go here, we got to make sure that slide's not locked. That stress weighs on you. And
It
Yeah.
does.
Takes the magic out.
so something that I love using points for, Amber, is I do love my status. I do love to be luxurious. So I want to know this
Yes.
because this is my one hesitation with it. And this is why I have my Delta card. I love to go in my Sky Lounge and when I go on trips and have my little guest passes on there that my Delta card
Yep.
gives me and have my like upgrade status as well. That I mean, I just got upgraded from main cabin to Comfort Plus on a plane because of the status the card gives me. Are there better cards out there that could give you status versus the cost saving measures as well?
Right. So if you're looking for status for a particular airline, you're doing exactly what's right. You want to open up probably the bougiest, most high annual fee card through that airline, right? You're paying for it.
Yeah.
And yes, there are other cards. The one that I like the most is the Capital One Venture X card.
Mm.
And I've got an explanation about all of this on my website. But basically, there is something called Priority Pass. And so the Venture X gives you access to Priority Pass lounges. So will it get you into the Delta lounge? No, absolutely not. But I have a Venture X card, and it allows me with that card to bring in myself and two other people. And then my husband also, he's an authorized user on my card. So he's able to bring in himself and two other people. So that covers our whole family.
Nice.
And so my annual fee on the Venture X is $395. However, $300 is given straight back to me in travel credits so I can book through their portal. And so I just know 100% that's my rental car money right there. I just book my rental cars through them. And so really it's like a $95
Interesting.
annual fee. Yeah.
Listen.
And so I would say in terms of my lounge access, then yes, that's definitely the one that I prefer. And you should also know that I do not have a lounge that I can use my VentureX card in Austin. But when I'm traveling, so I was in Amsterdam and I got to use it, or I was in Zurich last year and I got to use it, or Denver has a Capital One lounge. DC, there's one there, one in Vegas, there's one in
Okay.
Dallas. And so there are lounges across the country that you can use. And then you can also access, like I mentioned, any card on the Priority Pass, which isn't something that you just have memorized. But there's an app, and when you're in the airport, you pull it up and you're like, oh, there's a Priority Pass lounge here. And then you just go walk and find it. So, in terms of probably the lowest annual fee card you can get that will give you really solid lounge access and where you can actually bring in people with you without having to use certificates that you kind of burn pretty quickly, that's what I would recommend.
Oh, that is really interesting. I love like those things like that. Because also like I like points everywhere. I don't have a credit card for this, but you can get Marriott points as well. And that's another one of the perks of just staying with one brand. Because that's like
Right.
my way to travel. I stay with one brand. I'm loyal and I try to earn points just through paying with that brand so that I get upgraded access. Like I'm just booking a trip to New York because I have to drop my daughter off at a summer school program, which is crazy. But
Oh,
there was like a Courtyard Marriott for points, and there was the St. Regis with butler service for almost the same amount of points per night. And it's
whoa.
like those kind of things with points are so cool to see because you
Yeah,
never know what you're going to get. It's like playing a little game when you start traveling with
I know.
points. You get something a
It's
lot
so true.
better than you could usually afford.
It's so true. And I would say, even if you are tied to your Marriott card, there are things you can do. Like, there are different Marriott cards. There are Marriott cards through two different banks,
Mhm.
and you can receive a welcome offer every 2 years. And
Mm.
so, not saying you shouldn't keep your Marriott card forever, but you might take a break for a minute and then decide, oh, I actually missed that Marriott card. Maybe I'm going to open it again. My favorite time to open a Marriott card is when there are 5 nights that are 50,000 points each time. So that's like 250,000 points, but you can't use them as that. You have to use them as 5 nights. And so that's what we will definitely go Marriott whenever there is that offer because it's just such a good offer. That's like a resort, and you can top off the Marriott points
Okay.
with your own points.
How do you know when all these specials are going on? Because just the idea of having to look this up constantly makes my head hurt.
No, absolutely. And when I
Yeah.
started my head, like I didn't do this. I was like, I'm going to open up a card and I'm not going to think about this until I'm ready to spend these points, right?
Yeah.
And you should not feel like you have to research all this stuff. And I guess, I mean, at this point, this is my job, right? I
Right.
mean,
So
on
can we come to
Instagram,
your
I am
website?
researching this stuff. Yes, on my website, I have a best offers page, and I have at the top, it's all of the current best offers. And lots of these cards I would only open up when it's a best offer.
Yeah.
But yes, I know that most adults, most moms do not have the headspace to remember all of this. And I think that's the beauty of so many things is that you just know where to find the expert in whatever field it is. And you go see what they're talking about this month. And if I'm
Exactly.
talking about whatever card of the month, then that's the card you want to get if you're ready to open up a card and then check back in a few months. And
I love it. I love it. So what I'm hearing is I can just go to you and you will hold my hand through the process and just tell me this is what's best for you right now. This is what's best for you right now.
I would love to. Yes.
I love that.
I will hold all the hands.
I love it.
This is fascinating, Amber. And if you're listening right now and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to get started with this, Amber has created a handout with the first 3 things you need to know to get started. And to get that, all you have to do is DM No Guilt Mom on Instagram. Just DM the word travel. You just go to our account, click on message, and type in travel. And then our little happy little bot will respond to you and get you this resource because it's going to be incredible. And Amber, thank you so much for coming on today. We like to end
Thank you for
every
having me.
episode with what is something that you are excited about in your life?
Yeah, we do have an upcoming trip, which I am really excited about. Last year we went to very kid-friendly places. This is so much privilege, right? And we would have never done this without free travel through points. But last year we went to Amsterdam, London, and Paris, and those had kid things to
amazing.
do, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They had Disney Paris and Harry Potter experience. And this year we're going to Prague, Budapest, and Vienna with our kids. And those don't sound like kid places. And I have not researched them at all. And I don't even know what to do there. But I'm just excited to show kids, and I guess the Instagram world as well, that you can take big trips with your family. But on the flip side, you do not have to go big.
Mhm.
You do not have to go to Europe. You don't have to go to another country. Any experiences that you can provide for your family are enough. And whether that's going somewhere big or using an annual free night certificate to go downtown during Christmas time, it all creates these awesome memories. And I'm just super grateful that I'm able to be a part of this.
I love that.
That sounds so much fun. I've always wanted to go to Budapest. I've been to Prague. It's gorgeous. You're going to have such a good time.
Oh, good.
Such a good
That's
time.
great to hear because I don't know what to do there.
Oh my gosh,
Thank
it
you.
is gorgeous. Well, thank you so much, Amber, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks, ladies.
So Memorial Day is right around the corner, and I know that this is when I start planning for my summer. I'm a little behind on
A
the
little behind.
calendar.
It's funny because I've had the summer plan since January, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me. But it's also like now that my kids are older, they make their own plans and they start asking for like what they want to do this summer. I mean, my daughter's going to a summer program.
Yeah.
My son's going to camp. And so we really had to plan around those things. And they only get 6 weeks for summer.
I know
So
out here.
like,
It's so short
not
here in
much.
Phoenix for their summer. I was just telling our Balance community the other day on our social hour, by the 4th of July, we already have like the back to school stuff out at the stores here because, you
Mhm.
know, where we live in Phoenix, it's modified year round. So our kids go back to school the 3rd week of July. And it really
Yeah.
does put a crunch on summer. But I am motivated now. Amber has made me like, I'm going to start planning now because summer is when I'm motivated to plan for trips.
Yeah.
I'm going to start planning now for trips for next summer and next fall break. Because I think I could maybe make something happen by fall break. I think I could
You
maybe do
can
that.
definitely.
Think I
And
can.
it's always good to plan early because then you get the best deals. If you have to plan later, you're stuck with paying like higher prices. And I hate that.
Okay, so while Amber was talking about everything, my brain was rolling to, I have always wanted to go to Spain, England, and France. Those are my 3 that I haven't really been to. I mean, we went to Spain together once for like a day. I was at Barcelona, but I would love to like explore more. So like those are my 3 checklist ones that I think I'm gonna go on Amber's site and see if I can find some
Yes.
credit cards and start
Do
working
it.
this out. Where would you want to go?
Absolutely. Spain is one of mine as well. I want to actually use the Spanish. I've been learning. I think I could do better, especially after going to France just like a few months ago and just feeling like so completely incompetent using a language. Like I had no idea. I had my Duolingo out and I was on like the first few lessons. So I could do little words in my bonjour and my bonjourné and like just stuff like that. But everything I wanted to say, I was either trying to say it in Spanish first. That was my first instinct. So I'm like, it'd be cool to go to Spain. Try to speak in Spanish.
And have like a nice long trip to get to just kind of, I would like to be there for a couple
Eat a lot of
weeks.
tapas.
Oh my God, yes. And sangrias. Oh, that was the best.
Tapas
When
and
we went to
sangria.
Barcelona, like, yes, I had a questionable waffle while we were there, but I would say that and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the No Guilt Mom Instagram and.
Oh, that's way back there.
Yeah,
Guys,
but it's
a
in there.
penis waffle. It's a penis waffle in Barcelona. And it was across the street from La Familia Sagrada, which is like their huge cathedral. So
And
like
it was
big religious site, penis waffle stand on the corner. That's
and on a Sunday. God bless me.
And on a Sunday.
And it was a Sunday while we were there, but that was the best, right? Like we hung out at that restaurant, had the best tapas, best sangria I've ever had in my life. Oh my God.
There were
it
a
was
lot
fantastic.
of penises on that trip. Like,
There
and
were a
I'm
lot.
not telling, it was a girls' trip, guys, but like Pompeii, if
It's
you have
covered in
never been to
penises.
Pompeii, it's covered in penises. No one tells you that. That was
No.
not in my like easy reader of Pompeii when I was a kid, that there are penises everywhere in Pompeii. Like
I
they're
know.
on buildings, like they have shops like selling it in the marketplace because it was like the symbol of fertility. Like no one
it
tells
wasn't
you
a dirty thing, people. It
Wasn't a
wasn't a
dirty
dirty thing.
But oh my gosh, my kids would be so embarrassed, which is why I'm going to take them to Pompeii so they can experience.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah,
They're old
I would
enough now.
love.
They'll be okay.
I'd love to take my kids to Europe. So yes, so you guys have got to go check out Amber's site. We have a link in the show notes down below, and you can get her special like handout we have for the 3 things you need to know to get started. Just go to our Instagram, DM the word travel, and we'll get that out to you right away.
Yep. And until next time, remember, the best mom's a happy mom. Take care of you. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You could also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Memorial Day sale and get 30% off paints and stains May 16th through the 26th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.